Good afternoon. I'm Andrea Hawkins, for those of you that I don't know, although I'm really happy to say that I know quite a few people in the room, having been a resident of Hartford and Greater Hartford for almost 60 years. So it's a beautiful thing when we all get a chance to come together. And if you feel like I feel today, I'm sad that it has to be why we're here together. I am here with my co-host, Enrique, and Enrique is going to say hello in a few words.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Enrique. I'm Ellis's cousin, and just seeing all of you here is just a true testament of how many lives he touched, and it's beautiful. So today, we come together to honor and celebrate the life of my cousin Ellis, a man who was not only an extraordinary artist, but also a truly extraordinary person. Ellis had a quiet wisdom, a kind heart, and a generosity of spirit that touched everyone who knew him. He shared a deep connection, we both did, rooted in our mutual love for creativity. His art spoke in colors and textures, in mind and moving images. But the language of passion and storytelling was something that we both understood without words. Ellis had a way of bringing the past to life through the stories, especially when he spoke about my father. He helped me see my father through a new lens, sharing memories that reveal love, resilience, and a rich family history. To his children, to Leslie, and to all of us who loved him, Ellis left behind more than just his beautiful work. He left us with a legacy of kindness, his example of quiet strength, and his belief in the power of giving. May we carry forward his love, his creativity, and his unwavering faith in the goodness of others. To Leslie and his children, know that his love for you was immeasurable, and his pride in you was evident to anyone who listened. Ellis' light will continue to shine through the lives he touched, the stories he told, and the art he created. Let us honor him by living with the same grace and generosity that he showed us. Primo, rest easy. Your legacy is safe with us, and you'll always be in our hearts. I would like to welcome Kenny Barnett.
Good afternoon. This is unexpected. I'm gonna need your prayers to get through this. Ellis, as many of you know, that was my best friend, my brother. But what a lot of you don't know is that our families were merged a long time ago, and we became family. So not only was he my cousin, he was my brother, he was my best friend, he was a teacher. We both had passion and love for the arts. And Ellis demanded that I stayed focused. I have an assortment of stories that I could share. I know this is a somber moment and a sad moment for everyone, but last night I was thinking about Ellis and our relationship. Not only did he love art, but We both loved music, and we both loved to dress. So Ellis and I would literally comb through Salvation Army and find some of the coolest finds that you could think of. We both knew that it didn't really necessarily, you didn't have to be rich to dress well. You just have to have good taste. And Ellis and I, we pride ourselves having good taste. So I'm gonna share this one story with you. I'm not gonna take up much time, but I wanted to bring laughter to the room. So this one story, we would go to the Salvation Army, we find finds, and it was almost like a competition, right? And we ran across this shirt at the same time. Unique shirt. It was a beautiful shirt, and I'm not going to go into detail, but it was a very unique shirt that you would never find anywhere. So Ellis and I, we shared our clothes, because again, we didn't have money. We were little young starving artists, and but we love fashion. So the agreement was we would share clothes, but we couldn't wear them certain places because we didn't want anyone else to know that, yo, that's Ellis's shirt. No, that's Kenny's shirt. So we had a bond. It was like, yo, can't wear it to school, can't wear, so that was our thing. So one night we were at my place drawing and listening to music. And again, every time we would go to each other's house, we would visit each other's closets. So it was that shirt. And I said, yo, Elrock, not that shirt, man, because, really, we promised. He says, no, Kenny, we promised that we would share, but not wear it certain places. I said, okay, cool. He took the shirt. Monday morning, walking down the hallway of Hartford High, I said, yo, you got the shirt on. He just dropped his head and said, yo, cuz. So this is a beautiful moment. And as I look across the room and see the responsibility and the love of Ellis, responsibility meaning bringing such a beautiful quilt together to honor him. It's a great thing. I don't know who's responsible for this, but thank you. I can't.
Thank you for sharing your memories. I'd like to invite Olivia White.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to read my remarks fairly quickly because Andrea and the Sandman are waiting in the wings to pull me off stage if I go too long. So it's just really wonderful to see everyone here so brightly dressed. When I was with the Amistad Center, I had the pleasure of working with Ellis on many exhibition catalogs, Juneteenth invitations, fans, and T-shirts. Who here has attended a Juneteenth gala, still has a fan, still has a T-shirt? If you see one example there, cherish those, okay? Don't toss them out when you're cleaning out your attic. When Andrea invited me to speak today, I asked, why me? She said that the family felt I had put Ellis on the map. I am honored, truly, but I disagree. Ellis's own talent, beautiful spirit, and open heart put him on the proverbial map, and thankfully in all of our lives. As a professional colleague, Ellis always treated me as if I were his only client. He was passionate about perfection, patient, and grateful to have the privilege of being a practicing artist. As Nietzsche said, the essence of all beautiful art, all great art, is gratitude. Ellis was truly grateful for his gifts, which he so generously shared with all of us. As an artist, Ellis's work was filled with color and respect for our culture. His use of color was incomparable. He used rainbows of color to honor his subjects like James Baldwin and Anika Noni Rose, and those subjects he imagined. My favorite color is black. Ellis saw the world in living color. So our discussions about the design of Juneteenth invitations were quite interesting. Ellis was a man, but I can assure you he appreciated labor and delivery after suffering through many invitation design projects with me. Ellis used color to express his dreams and to make us dream and smile and believe. We were all wearing bright colors today to show that. To see color, there must be light. Ellis was a bright light for sure. Ellis himself was a rainbow. He and his work delighted us, inspired us, and fed our souls. To paraphrase Maya Angelou, Ellis was indeed a rainbow in our clouds. But in the words of Michael Jackson, like a comet blazing across the evening sky, gone too soon. Like a rainbow fading in the twinkling sky, gone too soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. I would like to invite Bruce Rogers.
My name is Bruce Rogers, and Ellis and I, we were buddies since second grade. Ellis' first contest was at Andy Fisher's school, and he came up to me. We were in a recess area, and they used to call me Noodles. I thought it was because of my intelligence, but they said because of my curly hair. I left my phone. Ellis was a brother I never had. And Kenny, I beg to differ with you. That was my brother. Just a quick thing was, I've been going through some health concerns, and Ellis and I, we kept no secrets from each other. So I had washed my phone, and it took a couple days to get another one. So what they said was, I said, I'd just get away. And I was at the lake house in the Berkshires, and the gentleman and the woman, the wife that I was visiting, they said, there's a call from Ellis. We were in the Berkshires, and the love that he had for me, I know thousands of people. He knows thousands of people. He tracked me down. My buddy looked at the phone. He said, Ellis? He said, Bruce, is this your buddy, Ellis? Ellis? He handed me the phone. Ellis said, I don't mean to hold you up, brother. I just want to hear your voice. And that just blew my mind. We have Pablo Picasso. We have Leonardo da Vinci. We have female artists such as Mary Cassatt, Grandma Moses, who Ellis always had respect for female artists. He said that they weren't getting enough respect. We had Elizabeth Braun and Alvin van Scholt. So that's Sweden, Japan, Italy, Spain, and Australia. But if you look in your house, if you look right here, you look Asylum Avenue, you look Sand Apartments, you look West Hartford, we had the absolute best. We had Ellis Echevarria. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. I'd like to invite Carlos Hernandez.
I did not expect to be called. It's like a pop quiz here. What can I say about Ellis that you already know or don't know? I knew of Ellis way back when I was a juror for the Youth Art Renaissance sponsored by CRT. How many of you remember that? You're old. And year after year that I juried, Ellis would present this magnificent work, and I started paying attention to him. Who is this kid? He walked away with the prizes every single time, you know. I didn't have a band because that wouldn't have been fair. But it was just wonderful to see that kind of diamond in the rough that was Ellis. And I knew that he was going to go somewhere. And fast forward, we interacted on and off, not as often as I wish we would. But one of the last collaborations that we had was with CRT again. He was always ready to answer the call for his volunteering service, as I was. And CRT called us to be jurors for a mural competition, and there were 2 or 3 strong candidates, one whom is right here, Michael Borders. I want to acknowledge Michael Borders. With whom I have a long history as well. And if you remember his mural at the what is now the City Place, this huge 60-foot mural that was taken down. But so we were asked to jury to select an artist to do a mural, and we ended up selecting a young woman. And Ellis's presentation to us, to the group, was so eloquent, and I was actually rooting for Michael because we did have a history and I know his work, but another woman ended up winning the commission, and we all rejoiced, and later on, the mural, by the way, is the mural of these 5 women on the side of the CRT building off of Market Street. I think it is Market Street. If you see it, that was the commission. And Ellis ended up occupying a studio where I used to perform with a whole bunch of my musician friends, and he ended up in that space, and I actually felt honored that he was the occupant of that space. We call it the Dirt Salon on Bartholomew Avenue. Wonderful place. And we chatted, and you know how eloquent Ellis was. He was a mile a minute and an idea a second, that kind of stuff. He was just so a fountain of ideas and a fountain of energy, and I'm sure that Leslie can attest to that. He probably drove you nuts once in a while, yeah. But it's a good nuts, I suppose. So my memories are just all over the place with Ellis, and I appreciate the opportunity to address you in this difficult but also a wonderful time, because we are able to celebrate somebody who touched the soil. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. I would like to invite up Joe Stanford.
Ellis and I were friends for somewhere around 45 years. And we were there for each other in the good times and the not so good times. You know, I can remember being on the tennis court playing tennis with Ellis for 4 or 5 hours like it was nothing. It'd always be Ellis and I against Greg and Fred. And of course, we won most of the time. And, you know, then look up a couple days later, we'd be on a basketball court competing. You know, Ellis was a very special individual. And, you know, we'd spend hours playing chess together. and talking and hanging out. And we had a group of friends that would hang out together and periodically, and it wasn't uncommon for Ellis to say, I can't make it. But there was a reason why, because Ellis was first and foremost a family man. His wife and his kids were extremely important to him always. He was very proud to be a parent and loved his kids. And and I talked to Ellis, and he says, I like hanging out with the fellas, but my best friend comes first. And Leslie, that's you. He told me so much about what you meant to him and how important you were to him. And the other day, last night I was thinking to myself, my friend for so many years is gone. That creates a void in your life. But I was talking to Leslie, and she said, Ellis is still with us. And I thought about that, If you go look at the tributes that were done on Facebook for Ellis, all of the pictures and all the comments, that tells you how many lives Ellis touched. And then I thought about, I've got about 5 or 6 of his pieces because I've always supported him. And I was looking at one of them, and it made memories come back and made me think about a lot of good times with Ellis. Now think about all of the art that's out there that Ellis has done. What Ellis has left a lot of himself behind for us to enjoy. Ellis was such a special person. Think about it. With all that he has left out there, many, many years from now, people will still be talking about Ellis because he was just that special. So I feel privileged to have had him as my friend for 45 years, and I know that many of you feel touched by what he did in his life. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stanford. I'd like to invite Willis Moore.
I was told I have 2 minutes, so I'll certainly try to stay within that time. I know that everyone joins me in thanking Ellis's mother, Mrs. Carmen, and her family for sharing Ellis with all of us. I am Willis and a friend of Ellis, and I'm also part of his sister Wanda's extended family. The days since we lost Ellis have been some of the coldest days of this new year. I woke up early this morning in preparing for this, and first thing I had to do was try to find more heat in my home. One thing I have in common with Ellis is we both were not born into this Connecticut cold. Another thing Ellis and I have in common is we both enjoy sharing stories about our families. Like Ellis's abuela, Mrs. Doña Santos, I was fortunate to have my grandmother, Mrs. Pearl Lee Jones, as part of my daily life. My grandma Pearl was about this tall, but her reach was way above her height. Now, my dad, like Ellis, was the one in the family who was always available whenever there was a need or loss in the family. Oftentimes, when someone in our family died, their loved ones would say, "Let's wait for Freddie B. He'll be here. He'll know what to do." In the first days of January 1979, my father got a call that my grandmother's favorite uncle had passed. He was Mr. Necktie Jones. He had died in his sleep at the age of 102. They called him Necktie because he always wore a shirt and tie every day while working on the family farm. When I asked my father how did he keep his white shirt and tie clean working on the farm, Daddy said he wore overalls every day. He owned 2 pairs of overalls. One pair was for Sunday, and the other pair was for the other 6 days. So you see, just like Ellis, Uncle Necktie was a real sharp dresser. So my father called a travel agent. I don't know, does people know what travel agents used to do? But travel agents was who you would call to make arrangements to fly and so on. So he called a travel agent, and they were flying, made arrangements for the 1,667 miles from Los Angeles to Little Rock, Arkansas. And then the plan was to rent a rental car that would take them from Little Rock the 100 miles to Camden, which was the family home. Before leaving LA, though, they would have done what I'm sure most of you did that aren't here from Connecticut. You would have called the family and say, hey, what's the weather like down there? I'm coming down, what's the weather like? And you would need that information to decide whether or not you could come, and then also what you needed to pack. And I'm sure those of you who were checking with the weather here, you were told to bring your heaviest coat you got. When they got to Little Rock, they could feel the temperature difference between LA and Little Rock. My grandma Pearl told Daddy she was getting cold as they waited for the baggage claim. He told her they would be okay once they got their bags and caught the shuttle to hers to get their rental car. As they waited for the car, Grandma asked Daddy to get her coat she had packed in her suitcase. He said, don't worry, the car is coming. We'll be okay once we get in the car. The Hertz man drove their car to the door. It was a state-of-the-art 1979 Chevrolet sedan equipped with all of the latest accessories. But the attendant did not turn the heat on in the car, so the car was as cold as a refrigerator. Grandma Pearl said, hurry up and get the heat on, son, I'm cold. My father, as you know, when you get a rental car, it's usually a new car, and you have to sort of familiarize yourself with it. So my father was there looking for the old school's blue for cold, red for hot. You slide a little bar back and forth, but he couldn't find it. So my grandma said, son, turn the heat on. I can't find, I'm freezing here, get the heat on. My father said, Mama, I just don't see the heat. So she says to him, son, if you can't read, spell H-E-A-T, turn on the heat. So I am forever grateful for Ellis's sharing. For me, Ellis Alfonso Echevarria was a state-of-the-art man whose expertise was grounded in family generosity. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. I want to bring back out Andrea, who will be reading us a poem.
So before I read the poem, for those of you that didn't know, although I've been going around telling every single person that will listen to me, because I am going to miss this. So Ellis was my birthday twin. We were both born on May 29th. He was older than me by a few years. I feel the need to say that, yes I do. But we would send each other messages on our birthdays, silly messages sometimes, sentimental messages other times, and that is the thing that I am going to miss. Because you see, he used to call me twin. It didn't matter when he saw me in the street, out around. He would say, hey twin, I'd say, hey twin, and we just reveled in that. It was a double joke for us because we are Geminis, and Geminis are twins, right, correct. So there are like 5 of us up here right now. Right. So the thing that I am going to miss the most is Ellis and I would have 10 conversations, and one conversation, you know, you've talked with him. And for me, it felt so natural. that idea of all different ideas. We could be talking about art, then we could be talking about food, then we could be talking about, you know, what we're doing next week. We could talk about vacation. We'd be all over the place in 20 minutes. So I'm gonna miss that because he made me feel incredibly normal in my ideas about all the things. The other thing that I am reflecting on before I jump into this poem that I do believe was inspired by Ellis, because I don't consider myself an artist, but I was inspired to write this poem the day after I learned that he passed, is that the number of people that have said to me how close they were to Ellis. And that's who he was. He made you feel like you were his best friend. That was his gift. He also did something that I think was remarkable and I don't see in the art world, and I've spent some time in the art world. That's how I met Ellis at the Amistad Center for Art and Culture. He made his art accessible. You could have a t-shirt, you could have a hat, you could have a small print, you could print it off of his Facebook page. He just was constantly sharing his art. I never saw one time, this is copyrighted, you shouldn't print it, you shouldn't do whatever. Now, you know, who knows, that may change, but this is who he was. He shared his gift with all of us, freely. And I will miss that. The poem is, I Thought I Had Time. I thought I had time to sit and hear your stories, to marvel at the colors you breathed into life, to watch your hands, steady and sure, transform blankness into beauty. I thought I had time to tell you how your work moved me, how your laughter carved light into heavy days, how your presence turned moments into memories worth keeping. But time, that cruel thief, took you before I could speak, before I could linger longer in your orbit, before I could say, you matter to me. Now I stand in the silence you've left behind, searching for traces of you in the brushstrokes and the sketches, in the echoes of your voice. I didn't play enough in my mind. Why did I wait? Why did I let tomorrow hold promises today could have kept? Why did I trust in the endlessness of what was always finite? If only I had known, I would have said everything. I would have stayed longer, called sooner, listened deeper. So now I whisper to those who remain, don't wait. Don't let the some days and the maybes gather dust like unfinished art. Reach out, hold tight, speak the love in your heart, while the canvas of connection is still blank and waiting. Because I thought I had time, and now all I have is the ache of what I left unsaid. At this time, we'd like to invite up Kim Cannon, who has a statement from the family. Kim?
Okay, I have reading glasses, so give me a minute to get them. The ones I have on, these are just cute. They are meaningless, so I have to get out the CVS 300s. Okay. On behalf of all of us who were blessed to know and love Ellis Echevarria, thank you for being here today to celebrate his remarkable life. It is a testament to his impact that so many have come together to honor the man whose light shone so brightly and whose creativity knew no bounds. Ellis was more than an artist. He was a storyteller, a mentor, a champion for heritage, and a bridge between people and ideas. Through his art, he gave life to emotions, meaning to moments, and connection to the complexities of the human experience. But his art was only a part of his legacy. It is the love he poured into his family, the encouragement he gave to his friends, and the tireless work he did to nurture others that will echo long after today. For Ellis, every brushstroke, sculpture, every conversation was an opportunity to create something meaningful, to leave this world better than he found it. Whether he was standing in the center of a gallery sharing his wisdom with a young artist, or simply smiling across the coffee shop, Ellis had a way of making everyone feel seen, valued, and inspired. We, his family, are honored to share his story with you. While we will miss his laughter, his humor, and the joy he brought to every day, we are comforted in knowing his legacy lives on. It is on the countless lives that he touched, and the beauty he created, and in the community he shared. To all of you, thank you for your love, your support, your memories of Ellis. We encourage you to carry forward his passion, his kindness, his belief in the power of creativity and connection. Ellis always said his art is about sharing and creating something that lives on in the hearts of others. So today, we remember him and honor him. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm just going to take this moment to read Ellis's obituary. Ellis Echevarria, a vibrant soul and a creative force of West Hartford and Hartford, Connecticut, transitioned from this world on Friday, January 17, 2025, leaving behind a legacy as bold and inspiring as his artistic spirit. Born with a heart attuned to beauty and a mind brimming with ideas, Ellis graced every space he entered with a vision that transformed the ordinary to extraordinary. A devoted member of his community, he spent his life weaving connections through art, storytelling, and a boundless passion for cultural expression. Ellis's journey began in Hartford, where he was nurtured by a family who recognized his innate creativity with a natural ability to turn life's complexities into masterpieces. He pursued his artistic dream with fervor, becoming a cornerstone of the local arts community, whether through painting, sculpting, or mixed media. Ellis used his work to tell stories that resonated deeply, evoking thought, emotion, and connection. Beyond his artistry, Ellis was a mentor, a friend, and advocate. He worked tirelessly to ensure future generations understood the importance of preserving and celebrating their heritage. His laughter, wisdom, and compassion made him a cherished presence to those who knew him. Ellis found joy not only in creation, but also in community. From West Hartford to Hartford, he was a familiar figure in galleries, local events, and coffee shops, always ready with a warm smile and an encouraging word. His generosity of spirit was matched only by his commitment to uplifting those around him. He is survived by his wife, Leslie Hubbard, children Mina Echevarria, EJ Echevarria, Taylor Kennedy, and Joshua Kennedy, mother Carmen Gonzalez, and sisters Elizabeth Flores, Evelyn Richardson, Iris Phipps, and Wanda Jones. and a devoted circle of friends and community forever changed by his light. His legacy will live on in the countless lives he touched and the masterpieces he leaves behind. He was predeceased by his beloved grandmother, Santos Echevarria. Ellis Echevarria, light, may have left this earth, but his essence endures in the art, memories, and love he bestowed upon us. May his journey onward be as luminous and boundless as the life he lived. Rest in power, Ellis. Your artistry, kindness, and passion will continue to inspire us. Thank you.
I have to just thank Enrique. I literally asked him yesterday if he would go with me today, and he just did a fantastic job. So we are going to start to bring this to a close, but the family has asked that we give some intentional appreciation to so many people that touched Ellis. I want you to not worry that your name was not called specifically, because I know you all knew his heart and you knew how much he meant to you and how much you mean to him. But these are some folks that the family would like us to bring forward. So he had some mentors, John Motley, who is here in the room, Joanne Price, Diane and Sandy Cloud. Those were people that helped him and guided his path as he thought about his art and having that be a business, not just creative. So many artist friends. For Connecticut to be such a small state, I'm just overwhelmed with the number of artists and emerging artists, even in his own family, that this community has. But Andre Rochester, Andres Chaparro, Aisha Miller, Carlos Hernandez, Edjanetta Miller, Charles Christie, Dana Dane, Jonathan Bruce, Julian Alexander, Michael Borders, Richard Holland, Stan Cromwell, all the folks over at the Greater Hartford Jazz Society, and so many more people from this community that are active in the arts, give us so many incredible gifts that we, I'm sure, take for granted that we have right here in our midst. Some dear friends, Greg Davis, Mark, he's a lawyer in DC. We couldn't find the last name, but you know who you are if you're on Zoom. Amy Saylor, Cecil Hudson, and then just some thank yous to folks who leaned in during this really difficult time. It's hard to believe it's only been a week. It's only been a week, and a lot has happened in a week. But the Artist Collective team has just been amazing. When I called Kimberly to say, hey, we're thinking about this, she said, absolutely, and let's get it on the date, let's do it, no question, and has just been here rolling tables and doing all kind of things that we didn't know executive directors do, but apparently they do. The Hartford Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta, the team is here. They've been handing out the programs. They'll be serving food at the repast today. Francine Austin has been amazing. I have talked to her no short of 20 times in the last week, and just did so many things, activated our community to make sure that all of you are here, and so many other people did that as well. Hillary Almeida, that is Leslie's sister. She has jumped in and helped. The team over at Howard K. Hill, they've been awesome and fantastic. Hugh Russell is making his space available for everyone after the repast today, so we hope that you make it down to the Russell, but he's been fantastic. Joanne Price, John Motley Miles and Sherry Hubbard, mom and dad, and Natasha Pierre, who has just leaned in, and so many others have as well. And I know over the days you'll be hearing from the family, but they just wanted to make sure that you all knew how much it meant for them during this time to be here and support them through all of this. And I might just say, right, we're all gathered here today. We're all surrounding the family with love, but think about all those firsts that they're going to have to navigate through without our beloved friend and dad and husband and son and brother and all the things. So if I could just ask all of you to join me and our family in wrapping them in love. When you can, reach out. When you can, support them how you can, because it will be a lot of really hard firsts coming up. So we would just ask that. And with that, we are going to close out this celebration. We are going to invite you all to join us for some eats and have a repast. And I do want to mention Mina and her friends put together a beautiful tribute to Ellis in the box office area. So please take a minute to go and see what has been collected there, and there will be some music and libations, and we invite you to enjoy yourselves. And thank you all for coming. Thank you.